Let's go to Bill now, West Hartford, Connecticut. Bill, you're on with John Hogue. Go ahead.
Yes, hi, George. Yes, hi. George, I have a comment leading into one question for John Hogue. Yes, and I've been racking my brains to try to figure out how, if Donald Trump attacks North Korea, should Kim Jong-un explode an underground nuclear test first, how that would not lead to a worldwide global nuclear World War III, because it was just last night you mentioned that Anonymous, that internet group, had made a 6-minute video saying about nuclear World War III was going to start. Here's my point, a former question. If that happens in that scenario, Trump attacks North Korea, maybe with 1 or 2 nukes going off in the North Korean peninsula, as Ed Dames has said, could China grab and attack Taiwan, because that's what they really want, just attack Taiwan, and at the same time, and this involves Stornberger that you just said, the prophet Stornberger, could Putin and Russia attack and conquer all of Ukraine, and then it stops there without having a global World War III, so Putin gets what he wants and China gets what it wants?
Well, that's kind of how people thought in 1914. All we need to do is the Schlieffen Plan, is the Prussians, the German army just go in and get Paris, and we're all home for Christmas, and it won't go beyond that. One has to then leap over certain realities of advances in military hardware and destructiveness that they did back in 1914, when their basic Napoleonic tactics of men marching in pretty colorful uniforms, even people on horses with lances, suddenly found themselves charging into open fields with repeater high explosive artillery and Maxim machine guns. And they weren't prepared for it. The thing is, I look at this, I have a whole chapter about this in the Korea book, where we enter beyond the bluff, which has been the basic back and forth brinksmanship for the last 64 years. What will happen when Kim clearly sees, and there's indications, which I show in the book, that he's playing his game, and he knows now the jig is up on the bluff. So what then happens next? What could happen is, the Chinese have said, don't fire on North Korea, give us a chance to Trump. But it's possible that if the underground test does happen, we've at least made our bluff that we will use a Moab high-explosive conventional weapon of 21,000 pounds of TNT and take out an area the size of the southern tip of Manhattan Island with one explosion that would wipe out either their missile gantries, or if they test fire, or hit the underground region or facilities.
Or take him out.
Yeah. Well,
hold on, John. We're at the break. We'll come back. We'll pick that up and take final calls next. Next hour, we're going to talk about some medical near-death experiences with a cardiologist. It's an amazing story. Make sure you're part of the program. Welcome back to Coast. John Hogue with us, and your phone calls, our final segment here. John, are you hopeful for the future? I mean, you see a lot of things with your prophecies and Nostradamus.
Before I answer that, I want to finish what I was saying, because it left a lot of people hanging there. I can feel them saying, what then happens when the Moab hits the test firing area of North Korea? It's possible where Kim Jong-un will then go to, okay, you hit our test firing area. We launch a Scud on your air base in South Korea.
Or a nuke.
Yeah. Don't know if he has the ability to do that yet, but it could be.
He might.
He was showing off what the CIA calls Kim Jong-un's disco silver ball, which is either a model or a real miniaturized nuclear weapon, atomic weapon with a kiloton range of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So the thing is, and then again, the other side of it is, so we could be seeing a tit-for-tat situation and then see who moves next. It could go to that stage. The other thing that people aren't in the West considering is that maybe the North Koreans are never going to invade South Korea. Maybe their 1.6 million man army with reserve echelons of another 5-6 million people are going to say, okay, decapitate us or not, now you got to come in and fight us on our turf. And frankly, 600,000 South Korean soldiers and 30,000 Americans are not going to be enough to fight a guerrilla war with 25 million people. So it could be that kind of a war. That would probably bring the Chinese in again, because they do not want North Korea to collapse by any force of arms from the West. Now, it may collapse on its own. The West might get what it wants by being peaceful and lifting the sanctions and getting the North Koreans to stop their nuclear weapons program and dismantle it. And then Kim is going to have to make his country work. If there's no existential threat to them being bombed, that would be the death knell to the Kim regime, because then the people would say, well, then why are we at this war footing starving still when we don't need to do this necessary evil to
and
survive?
No industry, no careers, no jobs, nothing going on there.
So peace would actually do more would do more to take down the Korean regime in the North than war, which would take everybody down, possibly us and the Russians and the Chinese. And I tell you, first off, I don't think Vladimir Putin, he's very misunderstood and misjudged to our strategic peril. He would not, nor does he have any intention to occupy the Ukraine. Crimea was it. And, I hold by that, and hopefully I don't have to be proven by events, as I often am. And
we always push you, don't we?
Back to your question, do I have hope?